Welcome to Stoic Tips. Why is it that women often chase the man who pulls away, yet ignore the one who gives them everything? Why does your silence linger louder in her mind than your constant presence ever could? Welcome to Man of Substance. In today's powerful episode on female psychology, we're diving into a topic that many men misunderstand: what a woman truly feels when you're not around. And no, it's not as simple as she misses you. That's just wishful thinking. The truth is, when you're absent, a woman experiences a roller coaster of emotions. And how that ride ends, whether in regret or total liberation from you, depends entirely on who you were before the silence. Let's be honest, most guys believe that being available 24/7, texting constantly, checking in, showing up, is the best way to show they care. But here's the harsh reality. Constant availability makes you predictable. Predictability becomes boring. And boredom makes you disposable. Ironically, it's your absence that does the real work. When you step back, not to play games, but to focus on yourself, you give her space to truly feel, not just about you, but about herself, her attraction, her doubts, her desires. In this video, we break down what really happens in a woman's mind when you're gone, not in theory, but in raw, emotional reality. We'll show you how your absence can haunt her, or free her. So if you've ever pulled away, whether on purpose or because life demanded it, this is for you. It's time to understand the unseen emotional process she goes through. You'll learn how to make your absence felt, not just noticed, if you're tired of being the one left wondering. Stay tuned. Part 1. She only feels your worth. When you're gone, here's a hard truth most men never learn. A woman doesn't fully feel your presence until she feels your absence. When you're always there, texting, replying, showing up, you become part of her routine. You're no longer a surprise. You're no longer exciting. You're familiar, expected, predictable. And when something becomes predictable, we stop valuing it. Not because we're cruel, but because that's human nature. We don't appreciate what we don't have to earn. But when you pull back, again, not to manipulate, but because you're focusing on your own growth, your value shifts. Suddenly, the man who was always there isn't. The safety net she took for granted? Gone. And in that silence, a new voice echoes in her mind. She starts to feel things she didn't expect. Why hasn't he called? Is he over me? Did I take him for granted? And for the first time in a long time, she starts doing the emotional work. Now, let's be clear. She doesn't miss you, at least not right away. She misses how she felt when you were around. The attention, the validation, the sense of importance. When that feeling disappears, her emotional system panics. It scrambles to get it back. But this time, you're not there to provide it. And that's when she realizes just how much it all meant. Let's say you were the guy who called her every night, no matter what. You checked in, you listened, you made her feel safe. But then, one day, you stopped. Maybe you got busy. Maybe you realized you were giving more than you got. Maybe you just decided to stop chasing someone who wasn't meeting you halfway. Suddenly, that nightly call she used to roll her eyes at, she wants it again. She checks her phone. She wonders if it's on silent. She replays your old voice notes, not because she's weak, but because those moments meant something. Stick around, because in the next section, we'll explore what happens after that emotional panic and how to carry yourself in a way that keeps your value, not just in her eyes, but in your own. Welcome to Man of Substance. Let's keep going. Your absence made her feel your worth. This is the moment when everything shifts. When you were always present, you were trying to prove your value. But when you walk away, when you stop showing up, she's forced to measure that value on her own. And the best part? You didn't have to convince her, you didn't have to beg. You just had to disappear long enough for her to realize what she lost. That's when a woman truly begins to understand what you brought to the table. So the next time you feel like pulling back makes you look weak or disinterested, remember this: your presence never hits as hard as your absence if you carried yourself like a man worth missing. Your distance makes her chase herself. Here's something most men never consider. When you step back, she doesn't just start chasing you, she starts chasing herself. Sounds strange, right? But here's what's really happening. When a man is constantly present, many women use that emotional availability as a cushion. They soak up the attention, the validation, the comfort, and never have to confront how they truly feel about you or about themselves. But when you pull away, that noise disappears. Suddenly, it's quiet. No texts, no calls, no attention, just her and her thoughts. That's when the real chase begins. Not after you, not yet, but after clarity, after certainty, after control. She starts asking herself, why do I care that he's not calling? Was I taking him for granted? Do I actually miss him, or just the attention? Was I even treating him right? She starts chasing those answers, because your distance created the space for her to start asking better questions. Women are emotional processors. They replay old conversations. They analyze, overanalyze, dig deep. And when they no longer have access to you, that process intensifies. Here's what most men overlook. Women hate emotional confusion. They need to define what's happening. Is he done with me? Is this a test? Did I blow it? Your silence becomes a mirror, one that reflects not just your absence, but her behavior, her choices, and her attitude toward you. And just like that, the dynamic flips. It's no longer about whether you're enough for her. It's about whether she was enough for you. When you were close, she had control. She could react on her terms. Now that you're distant, she's reacting on your terms. And that imbalance, it makes her restless. It's not about punishing her. It's not about manipulation. It's about giving her space to feel. Space she never had when you were always there. Because in your absence, she doesn't just chase a man. She chases the version of herself that mattered to him. And that's where the power shifts. She remembers what she took for granted. Every man who's ever been taken for granted knows this feeling. You gave her your time, your attention, your energy, and she treated it like background noise. She didn't thank you. She didn't value you. She just expected it, like you owed it to her. But when you walk away, something changes. That same woman starts remembering, not with peace, not with warmth. It starts with guilt. Then it turns into frustration. Then reflection. Suddenly, she remembers. The compliments she ignored. The support she never acknowledged. The effort she brushed off like it was nothing. And why does she remember now? Because now, she doesn't have it anymore. This is what most men miss. When you're always available, your presence blends into the background. She stops seeing it. She stops feeling it. But when you go silent, when you pull back, go cold, go missing, that's when all those moments come flooding back. Not because you were perfect, but because now there's no distraction from what's missing. She'll sit in that silence. She'll scroll through old messages. She'll remember how it felt to be cared for without having to earn it. And here's the thing. She'll realize, not every man listens like you did. Not every man checks in like you did. Not every man made her feel safe without expecting something in return. Whether she says it out loud or not, she'll feel it. And that feeling? That's called regret, not just sadness, but a heavy blend of shame and memory. She'll remember how she responded to your kindness, with attitude, with indifference, with entitlement. And in that moment, it won't be about you chasing her anymore. It'll be about whether she ever deserved the version of you that she lost. She rolled her eyes. Now she remembers everything. She used to roll her eyes when you tried to understand her. She tested your patience just to see if you'd stay. And now, you're not there. You're not playing the game. You're not giving her the energy she once fed off. And it's in this silence that reality hits her. She begins to realize the kind of man she had. But here's the irony. It usually hits too late. She replays everything in her mind, but now with new eyes. Eyes that miss what they once dismissed. Eyes that suddenly wish they'd valued what they assumed would always be there. This is why your absence matters. Not to punish her, but to let time and space teach the lesson your presence never could. Because when a woman is forced to live without the version of you she once took for granted, she finally understands the cost of your presence. Her emotions turn against her. At first, she acts unbothered. She might even seem relieved, like she's free, like she needed space. She posts more, laughs louder, goes out, looks like she's glowing. But here's what you don't see. Behind all of that, beneath the filters and the stories, her emotions are starting to turn against her. Here's a truth most men don't understand. Women feel everything twice. First, emotionally, then mentally. So in the beginning, she may seem fine. But eventually, the silence sets in, the distractions fade, and now she's left alone, with herself. That's when the emotional backlash starts. Guilt, doubt, jealousy, anxiety. And it's not because you sent her a paragraph, not because you begged. It's because you didn't. You left her with the one thing she's been avoiding, her own emotions. Now, her mind turns on her. She replays the last thing you said. She wonders what you meant. She questions why you haven't chased her, why you're not fighting for her, if she even mattered at all. The thing she used to be sure of? Gone. Just like you. Because when you were around, your presence did something no one else could. It kept her emotional chaos balanced. Now that you're gone, she absorbs it all. The same energy she used to unload on you, she now has to carry alone. And no, she won't always show it. She may still post the smile, still play the role. But inside, she's spiraling. And here's the moment where most men cave. You start to feel bad. You wonder if she's hurting. You think about reaching out just to ease the tension. Don't. Because this isn't about punishing her. It's about letting the silence speak truth. Your absence didn't break her. Her own emotional weight did. You simply stopped carrying it. She starts doubting her own value. When you pull back, especially from a woman who's used to attention, something subtle but powerful happens. She stops questioning you and starts questioning herself. It doesn't happen right away. At first, she thinks you're just busy or playing games. But the longer the silence stretches, the deeper the doubt sets in. Why? Because your absence removes the mirror. See, a lot of women unconsciously measure their worth by how men respond to them. If you're texting, calling, showing up, it tells her, I'm still wanted, I'm still enough. But when all that stops, that mirror shatters. And now she's left wondering, was I not good enough? Did I push him away? Is he seeing someone better? Not because you insulted her, but because you disappeared without explaining yourself. Her ego may try to convince her she's still in control, but deep down, her emotional center is shaking, especially if you were the kind of man who made her feel truly seen. The man who said, "Hope you have a good day," every morning. The man who listened without judgment. the man who gave her presents without pressure. And then, one day, it stops. No message, no reason, just silence. At first, she shrugs it off, but eventually, she notices. And that absence, it hits harder than any word you could have said. She pretends not to care. But silence tells the truth. She acts like she doesn't care. Maybe she even posts something flirty, something light, just enough to get your attention. But as the hours turn to days, her confidence starts to crack. She keeps checking her phone. She wonders, are you mad? Did I go too far? Is he with someone else? Suddenly, that confident version of her, the one who thought she had you wrapped around her finger, starts to unravel. Because it wasn't just your attention she craved, it was how she felt when she had it. And now your silence isn't just the absence of you, it's the absence of the version of herself she liked the most. The one who felt chosen, desirable, in control. Now she's left in emotional limbo, not trying to figure out where she stands with you, but with herself. And that's the most uncomfortable place she can be. Because now the question running through her mind isn't, why isn't he texting me? It's, was I ever truly worth it? And once that kind of doubt creeps in, it's not easy to silence. Your silence makes her see other men differently. When you go quiet, it doesn't just affect her emotions. It shifts her entire perspective, especially on other men. See, when you were around, you were the standard. You were the calm, the strength, the quiet confidence she could feel without you saying a word. You didn't chase, you didn't beg, you didn't need to. And that presence, it set a benchmark. But when you go silent and she starts interacting with other men, something changes. She begins to compare, often without realizing it. Suddenly, other men feel off. The ones who text too quickly, who try too hard, who seem eager for approval or emotionally chaotic. None of them feel like you. They feel like noise. Because when she looks at them now, they don't carry the same weight. They don't have that same steady energy, that restraint, that respect for themselves and for her. She might entertain them, smile, even flirt, but inside she's searching for something familiar, that feeling she only got when you were around. And here's the part that really stings. The more she searches, the more she realizes that most men don't measure up. Not because you're perfect, but because your silence revealed something she can't ignore anymore. That what you brought to the table wasn't common, it wasn't disposable. And now, your silence is no longer just distance, it's contrast. A mirror that shows her what she had, what she overlooked, and what she might never find again. Because of the difference between a man who chases validation and a man who can walk away without losing himself. That difference stays with her. It doesn't haunt her because of what you did. It lingers because of who you were. She hates that you're not begging. Let's talk about something most men don't want to hear. She hates that you're not begging. Why? Because when you stop chasing her, when you go silent instead of pleading, the power shifts, and she feels it. And no matter what she shows on the outside, that shift bothers her. Here's the truth. Begging isn't love. It's weakness dressed up as affection. It's desperation wearing the mask of loyalty. When you beg for her attention, you're sending two messages loud and clear. You need her more than she needs you. You're willing to lower your value to keep her around. And once you do that, she holds all the power. She becomes the one who decides your worth. And most men, they double down, thinking more effort, more pleading, will somehow fix what's broken. But it doesn't. It only breaks something else. Respect. Because the moment you drop to your knees, figuratively or literally, begging for her to stay, you lose something far greater than her attention. You lose her respect. And worse, you lose your own. No woman respects a man who abandons his dignity for a few crumbs of affection. She might tolerate it. She might even exploit it. But deep down, she can't respect what she doesn't see as strong. Now here's the irony. When you stop begging, she feels your absence more. When you pull back, quietly, confidently, she starts to notice. It frustrates her. It challenges her ego. Because suddenly, you're not playing your role. You're not chasing. You're not desperate. You're not easy to control. And that is what shakes her. Because now you're showing her that you have options. You're not just a man who wants her. You're a man who values himself more. That's real strength. And that's exactly where most men get it wrong. They think strength is about chasing harder, about explaining themselves, about proving they're the good guy. But real strength is silent. It's in the walk away. It's in holding your ground without shouting. It's in knowing you don't need to beg to be wanted. So here's the advice every man needs to hear. Stop chasing her approval. Stop texting first every time. Stop apologizing for your feelings like they're a weakness. Stop lowering your standards just to keep her from walking away. Because every time you do, you hand her more power and lose more of yourself. Conclusion: your silence is power. Let's wrap this up. A woman only truly feels your value once you're no longer around. That's when it hits. That's when she realizes what she took for granted. But if you're constantly around, constantly chasing, constantly begging, she'll never have the space to feel that loss, to realize what you meant, to question what she just let go. Your silence speaks louder than any apology. And if you're not willing to walk away and let her feel that, then you'll always be just an option. This isn't just theory, it's real, it's experience, and it's observation. So here's what I want from you. Take a moment and think. Have you ever pulled back and watched how she reacted? Or have you been glued to every word hoping she'd finally see your worth? Drop your story in the comments. Your wins, your struggles, your breakthroughs. This isn't just a channel, it's a community. We talk, we learn, we grow. And remember, this isn't about manipulation. This is about reclaiming your value. It's about walking in strength, not weakness. It's about showing the world and yourself that you don't beg for respect. You command it by how you carry yourself. Because when you stop chasing her, you stop losing you. And that's when everything changes.